on fireplaces. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I had seen such riches, I could live with being poor. Oh, sit down, oh, sit down, oh, sit down, sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 with sympathy.
Evening. We're going to talk tonight about the upcoming games at the weekend. Some big games, not just Arsenal, some other important games. Tony, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, Jez. Thanks for inviting me on the show. Looking forward to this one. 3 big games, as you said, that's got quite a lot of relevance and importance behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. Kenny Kent, how are you, mate? Glad to see you.
Well, it's been like how to say it, it's like speed dating for me, you know. It's like being on different podcasts. I was with Lee and yourself on the Rat Army podcast on Monday. Then I was with you on Wednesday. In between that, I did a boxing podcast, and I was with Dan. Did a podcast with Dan. Obviously, we did one on your channel, this channel, and then yesterday I was on the Spurs channel, Chris Cowley, and Tottenham Spurs Fancast channel. So again, I'm on another speed date as well with you and Tony, and I'm obviously long-haired Yeti. So yeah, it's been quite experience. Yeah, the internet has just been absolutely crazy for me this week.
Yeah, I mean it's funny, isn't it, when you get around all these different channels, man. I mean, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. I was just on a different channel every bleeding night. And I was like having to write down, I don't want to bloody forget. The Yeti might be joining us a little bit later. He's got a few things to do. I hope he can, because massive game for Forest and for Man City, the Forest City game. That's a big game round. And I see the little girls are out tonight as well. Elliot Satchel, go back to bed, mate. You got to get up.
Are we getting slagging up if we've opened our mouths?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I've had an absolute slagging off by a couple of people, slagging me and Lee off on my Twitter account I hardly use. And when I went on the podcast with Lee Judges, it was a brilliant show. We all had a laugh, but I've got an absolute slagging off because I had the temerity to suggest that we could sell Martinelli. So, you know, bring it along. They genuinely believe that we have no right to celebrate if we win the league. I hate to disappoint them. I'm going to be right in the thick of it and try stopping me.
Fact, at the end of the day. But we're the most hated online. Anyway, there you go. Don't care. If you don't like it, don't watch. And it was that. The fact is, this is what makes me giggle, right? People come over and put a comment in, which helps the algorithms, and they come to hate. And why watch? If you don't like it, don't watch. Simple as that. Anyway, Kenny, I'm going to start with you on this one, man. Arsenal, currently, we stand on 77 points. Yes. Liverpool, 74. Man City, 73, but they got 2 games in hand.
I think they're on 76 because I think they've won. They went on 76 when they won yesterday.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad. You're right. You're bad. Yeah, you are right. So they got 1 game in hand. I'm gonna save that game if the Yeti can join us, right? Because I think it's a very important game to talk about. But let's start off, man. Let's start off with you, Tony. Right. West Ham United versus Liverpool. A wounded left Liverpool, man.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely.
You know what happened, Everton. I was not expecting that. I won't lie. You know, I thought there might be a slip up, but I didn't expect them to lose 2-0. I mean, Salah was bloody awful. Seriously, I mean, that guy's really fallen off the cliff. Mate, big game for you guys at the weekend. Can you do us a favour?
I think we've got a good chance too in that. But I was just looking at the overview, and it says here, based on the last 5 years, percentage-wise, don't look good at all, Jez. We've only won 5, drawn 3 with them, and lost an impressive 14. So yeah, take that in your stride. But I think, as you said, they are wounded. They did look poor against Everton, especially with that second goal. I mean, Van Dijk being beaten at the far post by Lewin. There's something not right there, And I suppose in certain respects, it's from being a 3-horse race. It's now going to be basically a 2-horse race, especially if we beat him. So he'll definitely put that to bed. But if not, then it makes it interesting, especially if your game on Sunday as well. It will definitely open up a can of worms.
Yeah, I haven't just heard your stats. It doesn't look very favourable, does it? Let's be fair.
Not at all.
It's not looking good for us to help us at all, is it? Let's be honest. But Kenny, mate, do you think there's any chance that West Ham could do us a favour?
I think West. I don't know what it is with West Ham. They're criminally inconsistent. I think they've had a few injuries with their defence.
Yeah,
and I think in a sort of like perverse kind of way, it's good to have Mikel Antonio back, but with Mikel Antonio in the team, you're playing Kudus at the left where he's probably better than the right, and you're probably better with Jared Bowen in a sort of false number 9 role.
Yeah,
where he kind of plays his best football. And you only get to see his performance for England against Belgium, where he's absolutely fantastic. So I think that imbalances the team as well. But I just think it's just pure fatigue. You think about it, you've had long campaigns since 2021. You think about the 21-22 season when you had a long campaign in the Europa League, and you got to semis. You had a fantastic year last year where you won your Conference League, and then you've carried it on when you've had a pretty long campaign, only for it to be derailed. And you haven't really, freshened up your squad. So is it any wonder why there has been struggles, plus the injuries as well? It hasn't been great. Your best goalie's got himself injured now, and you've got Fabianski's 38. Okay, but you think that you need a young athletic goalkeeper. But I think you're on the beach. I have to be honest, you're on the beach. If you're losing in that kind of manner to Crystal Palace, then I do think you're on the beach, and I think that could favour Liverpool. I think that Liverpool, I don't know, probably where the press is probably going off Liverpool, and they're probably going to have to go at it. But the East End, you've got the players there. You've still got a dead ball specialist in Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
Antonio will run all day. He'll give you 63 minutes of honesty, and then they're still good players. Paqueta's still a very good footballer. He's has he been in the same place since he's come back from injury? Probably not. And I think that's the situation. You haven't been fresh, but there is reasons why, in my opinion, not fresh. Is those 2 long campaigns, or 3 long campaigns consecutively in Europe, especially Thursday, Sunday, and you really haven't got a squad for that. To be honest, in my opinion.
No, not at all.
Yeah, true.
Big up Joseph Connor.
Facts. I mean, I'm praying and hoping that even if you bash the draw, that's basically Liverpool out of the equation. I mean, right? Yeah, I mean they lost against Everton, dropped the 3 points. They're only 3 points behind us, but that puts the pressure back in a kind of obtuse way. It puts the pressure back on Arsenal to say, well, we've just got to go for it again. We've just got to do it, and no excuses. I mean, we've got some tough games, guys. Tough games. Spurs away at the weekend. Kenny, you'll be there. Bournemouth home. That could be a sticky one. We know how stubborn Bournemouth can be at home. Our gaff. Then we got Man United away, and then Everton home. Kenny. I mean, it's not easy.
If we go game by game, you have to look at, if you're going for the title and you're kind of playing, you've got City in your coattails, or or that which we had 2 weeks ago. Now we've got a situation where we're chasing City. The last place you want to go to is the North London derby, regardless of what form Spurs are in or not. The fact is that they're smarting as well. From their defeats against Fulham and Newcastle, more so against Newcastle because that's the most recent defeat, and they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Obviously, they're going to miss Odogie because of the long-term thigh injury, so they're going to play Davies. But the thing is that Spurs are in a much better shape than Everton. They've got better players. I just heard today that Porro's back from injury, so he's available Sunday. And I heard that Richarlison is available for Sunday as well. So, again, it gives them those kind of options up front. It gives you an option that do you play Werner and get him off the bench to cause a bit of chaos and start with Song on the left, which is his best position. And then you say to Richarlison, give me 60 minutes. Give me 60 minutes. And then it gives you the 60 minutes. And then, you'll play Brent Johnson because Kulusevski's in and out of form. So, and then you've got the midfield as well. They're very robust. I know Basuma, a lot of Spurs fans say Basuma's not playing his best football. And, he's come back from the African Cup of Nations with malaria. That's a rumour, not factual, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. With the sort of turnaround and the change of weather, not people not getting the right kind of vaccinations. And then you've got, going to play Sarr, Bentancur, it's either Bentancur or Maddison. Either way, they do play the high line, which could go in our favour. Another thing, conundrum as well, you've got to take consideration is that was the Chelsea game a return to form? Was the Chelsea game the exception because Chelsea was so poor? We're going to have to find that out this Sunday. We're saying Thomas Partey, is giving the team a lot of balance, but we have to be realistic. And Friday's a new day. If all three of us analysed the match and looked at how Chelsea played after the second goal went in, did the white flag go out? Did they say I don't want this, or were we that great? That because a week ago we were saying we're knackered, that we're on our last legs and that we probably have to crawl through games. Yet we get this thrashing at Chelsea, so that's a good game. Bournemouth are going to be very competitive. They've got a very good player and very good team. Semenya is in good form. Solanke is up there. They're quoting him for England. He's had a very good season. And then obviously you've got the fact that they owe us one because we nicked it from them last season. So that's going to be a competitive game. Man United is an enigma. We know they're in it because we've won once there in 18 years. Especially when we had better teams than Man U. And the fact is that they actually play. People say Ten Hag has got no tactics and Man United have got no tactics. That's a myth. Their tactics blatantly is stop, just psych up the pressure, and we use their pace on the break. That's how they've won games. They're not particularly bothered, that they teams beat them up in midfield. It's basically a risk and reward for them. As long as they don't concede, they know that if Fernandes gets passes through the lines and Garnacho causes havoc, Rashford turns up, they could easily turn us over, and create chances. The pace they got is insane. He's just playing a system that it's basically said, right, this is for right now. Next season, if I'm given money, I might change it. But if there's two teams who could F up our bid for the title and end it, make the title race irrelevant on our behalf, it'd be Spurs away and Man United away.
Totally agree with you on that. Kelly, it's got to be the starting team that we played against Chelsea, innit? It's got to be. Please don't change anything.
He's not going to change it. He's not going to change it. It's only injury which will change that. There's situations where Spurs are going to be robust. There is a temptation to play Maddison, Bentancur and either Sarr or Basuma because as I say, Bazuma's out of form. But it'll play into hands if they play those two because if we're dominating the ball, who's going to win the ball back? You need at least two players to win the ball back, and then win the ball back and allow Maddison to do his magic. The thing with Spurs is that you have to say that their players, since they come out for injury, haven't been firing all cylinders like they were before the Chelsea game. You can't deny it. You can't deny the fact that you know, Madison's been in and out. Madison's probably best game since he came back was the Villa game. Apart from that, I can't think of a game where he's had a performance similar to that. And then you obviously got Bassoon, who's well documented. Mamero, good player, absolutely a Looney Tune. And then Van der Ven has been fantastic since his car injury. But the Newcastle game, he just had a Benny Hill moment. So
you agree on that.
So you do have to got that game. You know, you can't just say, "Oh yeah, Spurs played a high line. Let's play Martinelli." Forget it. If Zinchenko's not in the team and Jesus is not in the team to create those kind of spaces and get Martinelli in those positions on the shoulder, it's a waste of selection. You only have to look at the litmus test, which was the Bayern games where we played him, and he might as well not have been there. There was no outball. Zinchenko obviously tried out in the first leg, but that was blocked. And there was no Jesus create havoc. And then in the game in Munich, there was neither player to give him the service he needed. He had to cut in. When he cuts in, he's hurting. He doesn't hurt the opposition.
True. I did see, though, I'm going to ask you this, independent, Tony, independent. There was a certain Arsenal channel saying, start Jorginho instead of Partey. I'd see it myself. What do you think?
No, I mean, if you look at it, Partey gave that calmness, didn't he, in the middle of the park, basically, and it allowed, as you said, Odegaard to play on and actually kind of just prove what he can actually do. And him and Rice, Partey and Rice together, your midfield looks solid. So if you bring in Jorginho, you're upsetting the balance. And why would you want to do that? I mean, as you said, it's your London, right? Your main London rivals. You can't be changing the tactics just because you think, yeah, he'll do a job in this game, because it could fail miserably. Before you know it, there's your title gone. That's the worst case scenario.
I don't see the logic, Tony. I really don't. But Kurt's put this comment in. This is interesting for you. He's seeing you winning 2-1.
Yeah, I had that kind of scoreline myself, I must admit. So well done, Kurt. Thanks for that. I'll take that.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? But Vincenzo's saying, sadly, West Ham have finished until the end of the season.
Yeah.
When hopefully they'll go and get a better...
Is Vinny a mate of yours, Tom?
No, not at all, Ken.
Or is Vinny masquerading as your brother-in-law?
No, not at all. Not at all. You see me with Terry. You know where Terry's allegiance lies.
I haven't seen. Is Terry still going to games, or is it Terry busy at work? Because I haven't seen Terry for a while.
Busy with work as well, mate. He is busy, but he's doing. You know, he's fine. He's alive and kicking. I proved that when we met up and that. But he is okay. But yeah, I have told him that there's tons of people after him.
Well, so, I think he's going to be seeking all sorts of apologies and collecting his bets if we win the league, because he thinks, especially from the Rat Army. Yeah, it's true. He's got a particular. He wants to have some conversations with all three of us, myself, Jez, and Lee, in particular.
Well, fun enough, Kim. When it goes bad for West Ham, he chirps like a canary on our little family chat thing. When it's the other way around, suddenly he's he just can't get hold of him for some reason.
Well, that's funny. That is funny. That people don't like to be be around when they've been proven wrong. But as Arsenal fans, I want Terry to be right. I want to be a situation where we get one of our snookers.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're going to get our snookers, but the worst case scenario for Arsenal is we beat Spurs. We put ourselves in contention. But but if Spurs have got nothing to play for, then they're not going to they're going to just be their usual selves when they go to Anfield. And the Man City game is just going to be, even though it's going to be their last home game of the season, that will pale into significance, because they got nothing to play for. They've got to play for pride. They're not going to take pride in helping us win the league.
No, of course not. Of course not. I mean, for Wills, Spurs are going to turn up for you guys.
Oh yeah,
And then they'll switch it off for the rest of them. But for you, so they're going to switch on massively.
Well, the only way I see Spurs, giving Man City a run for their money is if they beat us and go on to beat Chelsea, and probably get a nick of a point at Anfield, and think, right, you know what, hopefully Liverpool will do them a favour when they play Villa, and then see what it is. At the moment, the momentum's brilliant for Villa. If Villa win, beat Chelsea, it's going to put Spurs under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Which could, when they play us, because they're playing. Are they playing Chelsea Sunday?
Yeah, I think it's Sunday. I do believe. Is it Sunday?
No, so if it's Sunday, they're probably playing the same time as they're playing us. So, they won't have that much distraction. But they're hoping Chelsea, with their full team, Cole Palmer is ready for training. Here, someone else is. I think Chilwell's ready, good to go as well. So they'll probably hope for that. But if Arsenal rely on Spurs for anything, just forget it. Man City have exercised the Spurs demon in the FA Cup in the fourth round, won there, albeit last minute. So this Spurs, enigma, I think that's been exercised for me.
Fact, I mean, it's true. I mean, Michael saying hello from Orlando. Hello, mate. I don't think I've seen you before, bro.
Must be boiling out there in Orlando, Florida.
Bloody boiling here, man. It's pigging cold, man. Pigging cold. BBB, David says, Arsenal got a win, but I'm saying it's a 2-2 for Spurs Arsenal. Well, that's not going to be great for us, Kenny. 1-1. Sorry, 2-2, 1 point.
It's not really great. I don't think it suits either team. Spurs do have designs of, getting the top four. It won't suit either teams, but I don't know. Depends what sort of mindset they have. Spurs may have the same mindset as we do deep down about Man City's consistency, and that we think, what, we've seen this game before. Only Liverpool were playing this game in Man City where they were a point or two behind. They won every game, but Man City won every game. Last game, it was just basically like a parade of pride. Like the last game of the season, and this could be our fate as well. And Spurs probably think, even though they've got the games in hand, the pessimism is for them is that when they don't win at Chelsea, they've won once in 34 years at Chelsea, and the Man City are going for the league, and they're a robust, concentrated Man City who, let's face it, have got no distractions now. They're out of Europe, and that's going to make them pretty pissed off. And I wouldn't want to play them at all. But the perfect man to discuss Man City is right here. He's just joined us. I'll keep quiet now.
That's fair enough, man. Big up, man. Big up
How are you guys? We're all right.
Oh, yeah, good, mate. You?
I'm good, yeah. I just had a shower listening to Metallica, mate. Getting it so good. Awesome. Nearly slipped over, actually, so you might not have seen me. So.
Did you head back the wall, man?
No, mate, but I nearly slipped over in the bath.
Shit.
Yes, fact. I mean, talking about Liverpool, I mean, they've got West Ham this weekend. We've got Spurs at home, Villa away, Wolves at home. So, there's stumbling blocks along the way there again, isn't there?
I think, to be quite honest, I mean, I'm just saying this. I'm not saying this like all YouTubers, fact, because I'm a YouTuber or whatever. But I'm just saying basically that I think Liverpool have checked out. What I saw on against Everton, it just looked like they had no ideas or anything. Salah was offering nothing. Núñez, not sure what's wrong with him. He just can't seem to hit the onion bag, to be fair. And, I think Liverpool have checked out, but whether West Ham can beat them, I don't know. But I do think that Liverpool have checked out.
Maybe, man. We've got another fan in tonight, Archie B. Jez with the dead ball knowledge again. Thanks for watching, mate. Thanks for watching. Smash us a like, it's all good.
Well, the ball is dead, so he's probably, Yeah, I've got a point, I suppose.
Copies everything Lee Gunner says. I don't think anything I've said here tonight is what Lee Gunner said, actually. So I don't know where you're getting your information.
Well,
Thanks.
you mentioned Arsenal, and Lee Gunner always talks about Arsenal, so you kind of.
Oh, of course. Yeah, mate. Sorry.
I think people take that. I think people want to sort of have their turn at having a go to Rat Iron. They want to take their frustrations out. He's had a bad day. You know, using words like dead ball knowledge belies his age. He's clearly very young. You know, I don't know. He's had maybe supervisor at work's giving him a dressing down, or you know, they probably said, you know, his coursework was handing him late. I don't know why he's taking frustration out of us, but you know, keep watching. You might learn something, mate.
They might have took his Lego away, Kenny.
Oh yeah, that's well. I mean, Lego now is worth thousands of pounds now.
I know, I've still got a big bag of it.
Let's move that on. Yeti, Forest, Man City, man. Big game in two ways. It's a two-pronged sword.
It's massive.
Right? It's massive for you, and it's massive for City. Because, you know, at the end of the day, Forest, you need them points, bro.
Yeah.
You're on 26 points, you're skating, you know, the ice is getting a little bit thin now.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So, do you think you could get a result against City, man? Do us a favour.
Well, like I said the other day, I've got a really good feeling we will get something from it, to be honest. I mean, I was listening to Nuno today, and he said he's using the decisions and everything to drive the team. So the team's going to be well and truly up for it. I think the way, personally, I think it's got to be his best team talk he's ever given. If I was giving it, I would basically say, listen to that crowd. Just listen to that crowd. You give that kind of performance on that pitch, and you can get something from this. Yeah? And I'd also say, if any of you don't give that kind of performance on the pitch, when you walk off the pitch, walk past the dressing room, go out the door, get in your car, and fuck off home, and never come back, because you'll never be in a Forest shirt again while I'm manager. But I think it's going to be a massively tough game. I think we've got to get right into them from the very beginning. We've got to pretty much do what Everton did to Liverpool. Just show them a game that they're just not up for. You know, I mean, because Everton had them locked always on the set pieces. They were stopping Van Dijk getting to the ball and everything on the attacking and defending set pieces. Liverpool was down to actually just long balling it into the box and just passing it around out the outside, which is very similar to what we did to you at the end of last season. Obviously, this season's a lot different now, but, you know, and it was just, and I just thought, well, that's the worst tactics I've ever seen against Everton, because you've got Tarkowski and Braithwaite.
Cheers.
Yeah, they're big lads, aren't they? So you're not going to get it in there. And Nuno wasn't winning anything. So, yeah, I think, lads, I do actually think that we'll get something. A draw, maybe. I mean, I'm probably delusional, but then again, I'm a YouTuber. We're all delusional, aren't we? So, but at least I'm not copying Lee Gunner like you do, Jess. So.
The thing is, mate, my only concern about Forest, we talked about this the other night, is it seems to me towards the end of the game, you seem to lack concentration, just letting us.
Yeah.
And
I think that's an absolutely valid point, because it doesn't matter if we do the work in the midfield and actually press and, you know, and stop the play. Just one or two chances and we're not concentrating in the defence, and it's just all unlocked, and that's pretty much what it's been mostly through the season. But I'm expecting them to really come out on Sunday. Otherwise, come out or leave, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, you've got to win that, mate, because, I mean, you're in a pretty dire possession. I mean, Man City, you know, Forest away, Wolves home, Fulham away, Spurs away. That, again, could be a stumbling block for all of us.
Yeah.
You've got to play Spurs, which is interesting, in itself. And the only team that are playing Spurs at home out of the three of us is Liverpool. So, you know, we've really got to try and hope that tomorrow, this weekend, Sunday, isn't it? You're playing Sunday.
No, they're playing straight after us. It makes
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 4:30. So you got, I'm looking at this in you do us a favour, and I'm also looking at the fact that you guys are fighting for survival right now.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're sort of like paddling water.
It's do or die. It's do or die.
Water.
If we've got to have Wolves beat Luton on Saturday, we've got to have Man United beat Burnley. Yeah, there's no excuse for me. It's do or die.
The
So
thing is,
stop talking and just get on with it.
The thing is, I expect Wolves to beat Luton. I do think.
I hope so.
I think it depends if Wolves have got their full team out. If Wolves have got their full team out, they're beating Luton.
Yeah.
In terms of like Man United and Burnley will get their nose in front. The thing with Man United, they're contrived chaos. I think there's enough quality for them to probably spoken about. But the thing about it is that there has been self-harming in terms of like game. Brighton home and away, that's self-harming. Not get out of the blocks pretty quickly against us in the game in January, that didn't help. But I do think points deduction, has put you in a position you shouldn't really be in. I think you think about it, ultimately it was a Brendan Johnson transfer that, pushed you over.
Yeah,
and
took too long.
No clemency whatsoever. You're both Spurs and Nottingham Forest well within their rights to negotiate a fee which suits both clubs.
Yeah.
It just took too long.
I think what it was, Kenny, is we hung out for more money, and I think that's what kind of made it last longer. And obviously, something has to happen before something else happens. So it's just one of them things. I'm not one of these people that sits there, worries me. At the end of the day, it's in our hands. I don't want to quote Mr. Robbie Idiot, but it's in our hands to actually get out of to stay in this league. And next season we better do better, because I'm not expert. I don't want this every single season.
That's a good point. I was just going to ask you this. Just thought about it, mate. If sadly you do get relegated,
you
think you'll come straight back up, or it'll be a couple more years down in the Championship?
I think it'll depend on who we lose, who disappears, who decides that they want to get back in the Premier League, and who's wanted. I would say Morgan Gibbs-White and Murillo are two that we're definitely not going to keep. Niakate maybe as well. There's one or two others as well as that. But the thing is like, like I say, it's who stays. Like I said to Mama yesterday, the thing is, I never expected to be Premier League. Me and my mate was talking about it ages ago at the ground. We'll never see Premier League in our lifetime. I've seen it. I've seen it for 2 seasons now. I'd rather see it a bit better than what I've seen it. But, I've actually seen my club in the Premier League. So if we go down and we build a squad and actually come up with that squad and then basically, fight with that squad we've come up with, I think it will put us in a lot better position. I'm not saying I want to go down, obviously. But, you've got to always look at those possibilities.
True. Good point. Tone, do you think this is a fair thing? Vincenzo says, is it an advantage having 15 days rest for the Middlesex Hotspurs? I love that.
Middlesex Hotspurs. We've seen it as well. You guys have had the break, and so it's everyone's had their kind of fair share of this break in between. But the thing for them, it doesn't matter if they have that 15 days rest. It's what they've done in the training and how they prepared themselves for this game on Sunday. If they're not prepared, then it should be an easy win for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But if Andrew's got some tactics going, and he's obviously, well, put it this way, they probably had enough time to go through the DVD collection of watching you guys play. They're going to actually be up for this game.
Plus, if they've had some Salt Bay steak.
Yeah, probably
might be in trouble.
No, it's Salt Bay bagels. Yeah, that's
Salt Bay pork chops.
Hey, you know what? If you look at it statistically, you can send the bagels over to Arsenal as well, because we do have some very high profile Jewish fans as well.
That's very true.
And I think and so do West Ham as well.
Yep.
West Ham as well. Martin Samuel, journalist, massive West Ham fan.
That's right.
So and I think it's like it's kind of leveled out now. I think that Spurs, like being classed as primary Jewish club. I think you could say that about West Ham now, Arsenal and Chelsea as well to a certain extent as well. But Arsenal definitely have a massive Jewish contingent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. My only concern on this, Kenny, getting back to the Spurs Arsenal game, right? They are seriously going to want to spoil the party, no doubt. You know that, right? You've been up there many, many times to White Hart Lane, and what my concern is this, mate, and this is two parts to this, right? If this team cannot get fired up for a North London derby at the stage of the season, there's something badly wrong in their mentality. Do you also think, Kenny, right? You'll be there with the away fans. They will be. Yeah, I'm hoping. The Arsenal away will be absolutely banging it.
Oh, it's a given. It's a given because the game means a lot to all the Arsenal fans, regardless of whether you're there or not. But the away fans will be, holding their own in terms of like getting behind the team, getting behind our boys without a shadow of a doubt. They definitely hold their own. You can't.
I know that. My question is this, right? My question is this. That Spurs stadium is going to be as noisy as
100%. You 100%. If you kind of rewind back to not a too dissimilar time. Just think about by this time 7 years ago, their last North London derby in the old White Hart Lane. It was like the 27th. I think it was the 27th of. I think it was around the 28th, the same day, probably the 28th of April to the 2017. Last North London derby there. We knew they were tearing down the stadium. That's White Hart Lane was rocking that day, rocking, and they absolutely turned us over. And then you kind of like fast forward now to 2022, Thursday night. Rearranged game, Thursday, the 12th of May. Both teams vying for the top four. The atmosphere was absolutely electric. Their fans were baying for blood. They got behind that team. It was a crescendo of noise. We were intimidated on the pitch, the players. The fans weren't, but the players were. Got sent it off. Game was over after 47 minutes. Most of our fans decided that tomorrow they wait for the next day, which is a new day, and just left early. The waste end was bare, so they have formed for causing us problems. And let's face it, we've only won once at Spurs in 10 years, so that is kind of a poor record as well. So hopefully the Arsenal that from last season is going to turn up, and we take the game over Spurs, but we've got to start quickly. If we play at Liverpool and wait for something to happen in our favour, then we're going to get a hammering. Like Liverpool did. Liverpool, they got on the front foot against Everton and dictated the play. I do think it would have been a different game, but they waited for Everton to make their first move and just never got the grips of the set pieces. They were just bagging nerves. But all their players just got intimidated. Arsenal players won't be intimidated, but you never know. Who knows? Those Spurs put it on us physically. And then all of a sudden we think, oh no, it's a bit like Bayern, it's a bit like Aston Villa, our legs are gone. Because let's face it, Chelsea was second half against Chelsea, that was no competition whatsoever, especially when we scored. Can you imagine if you're Chelsea team and you see Ben White get you second? Come on, mate. You know something. You know you ain't winning if he's scoring against you.
True. Apparently, QPR are beating Leeds United 1-0. That's interesting in the Championship right now. I just forgot what I was going to say now.
I actually like the Championship, so it might be a good thing, to be fair.
Your money men don't, though.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? Yeah, that's the issue.
But it's
So
just as tight as the Champ
question
Premier,
to
isn't it?
you two Arsenal fans, yeah. Would you rather have your game after our game, or the way it is?
You know what?
It's a difference, does it? I don't think.
Well, then you'd know, wouldn't you? Because if City beat
You've
us,
got to win whatever, man. You've got to win.
We'll whatever.
Yeah.
But I think what's happened, if we were still in Europe, if us and City were still in Europe, those games wouldn't have happened. Like, for instance, the West Ham and Liverpool game had to be postponed because Sky would have scheduled the North London derby as a 12:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
We were always going to go first before Man City. The Man City
that's true.
game's kind of locked in because we tend to play our first leg in the Champions League before Man City, but that's all relative because if both teams have won, it would have been Man City Arsenal, wouldn't it? So
It's a fair comment by Yeti, though, because when you think about it, who does it give the advantage? Because, as you know, if you're watching the Man City game and they lose, it gives you the impetus to go on to win your game.
It didn't help us when Liverpool lost, did it?
No, it didn't.
Yeah. True, very true. Yeah, that's true.
It didn't at all, did it? It didn't do us any favours whatsoever.
That's true.
I don't know. I just don't think it matters personally, my personal view. He's just got to go win.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you can't get up for that North London derby, man, then you don't deserve to win. Simple.
Definitely not.
I mean, as in the words of the great Tony Adams, you don't lose today.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what he said. You don't lose this game.
Spurs away in recent years has been a graveyard for us. They're not the soft underbelly that they're Spursy, which is their like persona anyway. But when you think about the last 14 years when we played them at their ground, the levels of performance have been like shockingly brilliant on their part. They've really been at it. The only times we've beaten them, when we have beaten them, is when they've just been at 6s or 7s. But apart from that, those games are hard games, robust. No mercy, no quarter given. They really want to beat us, and they give it everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, just looking at the stats here, Kenny. I mean, you're showing here basically the last 5 years again. Spurs won 9. You've both drawn 7, and you've won 8. So that's how tight it is between the two of you.
It's going to be a hell of a day out. I mean, I'm nervous about it already. I won't lie. I'll be doing a watch along with the Yeti for that game, and it's going to be tense, seriously tense game. And I just want to clear something up. Nothing's been the chat here tonight about it. I was watching a channel where I saw some of the most depressive people ever on an Arsenal channel. And they were saying about we should never have gone to Ashburton Grove because Arsenal should have compulsory purchased all the houses around Highbury and it. Well, the truth of the matter is, do your research. Islington Town Council wouldn't allow it. Right?
Some of the listed buildings, you can't do it.
Yeah. They said they would not allow it because would have had to buy every house in Highbury Hill, every house in Avenel Road, and the Islington Town Council said no. So do your research, people. Don't stick there spouting about, it's a disgrace about what happened to Highbury.
I hear where the fans are coming from, but I think we've got to let go of this situation. Is that the fact is that we tried our best to stay around the area, and we've done remarkably well to actually not to be too far from Highbury. The Gresby Road is still virtually round the corner from the back of the Emirates.
600 metres away, Penny. 600 metres.
Exactly, and so I understand where the fans are coming from, but we did our best. You at a time if you looked at local news, London Tonight or Thames News, whatever it was in '98, we were getting celebrity residents who were basically going on there protesting against us doing the compulsory purchases. They lobbied the council vigorously to the extent that we even tried it on by threatening to move to Wembley. David Dean threatened to move to Wembley in order to, give Islington Council a shake-up, but it didn't work. We had to compromise with Islington Council and say, right, that smelly plate, that smelly rubbish dump near the Harvey's estate, that's yours if you want it. And we grabbed it with both hands, and it's, you know what I mean. So you have to understand, we've got to let go of Highbury. We should never forget Highbury, but the Emirates Stadium is a bowl, but the club, for the club's point of view, it's made us a whole heap of money. The only thing the club did, we truthfully said that we wanted to compete with Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and all the big clubs in Europe. We have off the pitch financially, but on the pitch, it was a myth to say that it was going to happen. I think the fans didn't listen to the actual message. All they heard about was compete with these big clubs, but they wanted it. They heard what they wanted, i.e. on the field, but you knew it. I knew, Jez, that it was always about getting more money commercially and capital-wise in terms of like more people over the turnstiles. We knew that. We knew that it was always about that. It was that all the other things they were saying about, having more money to spend on players, it's rubbish. It doesn't work like that. It's always about turnover, boom, boom. Never about improving your squad.
I think the thing is, Kenny, very quickly, I don't want to go keep on about it. Is you loved Highbury, I loved Highbury. It was our home, but we've moved on now, and it's time to put it to bed. It's gone. We're at the Emirates Stadium now, and that's what I don't like the Emirates personally. It's not. I just find it a bit soulless, if I'm honest. But we are there, and that's it. And we got to live.
Look, the Blue Nose gets coffee men, and they're going to have the same thing that when they finally leave Goodison Park and they go to that lovely stadium, they're not going to love it. They're going to bemoan the fact that, we used to intimidate the big teams at Goodison Park. We had it. West Ham, when they left Upton Park, West Ham fans probably still yearn after Upton Park.
Yeah.
Because Upton Park brought back a lot of memories. You think about it, the three things from 1966. That period between 64, 65 and 66 was a great time for West Ham. And it was coincided with being at Upton Park.
Funny you say that. That's just reminded me of something. I was watching a football channel last night with American fans. Respect. I don't think the London Stadium's called the Bowling Ground anymore, is it?
No.
Tony?
No, exactly that, Jez. Yeah.
West Ham fan calling the ground the Bowling Ground. And I thought that was Upton Park as it was back in the day.
Yeah.
It's the London Stadium now, isn't it?
Yeah, the London Stadium.
And I put a question into this fella, right? And I said, have you ever been to the Bowling Ground? And he went, no. Have you ever been to the new Bowling Ground? No. I thought, right, there you fucking go. There you go. Thank you, Joseph, mate, for your super chat. Remember Rosicky Screamer 2014 Spurs, Kenny and Jez? Yes, I do.
Yeah, but you know what? It was after 2 minutes. He scored after 2 minutes. We spent the rest of the game defending.
Yeah, well, he's. I love Rosicky. I thought he's a great player. To some of these chats, man. Afsar, design of the Emirates Stadium could have been better. Pitch could have been closer to the pitch, like the new Spurs Stadium. Point. Interesting.
London Stadium is exactly the same.
I think the thing with Highbury, it was a very intimidating because it was so tight.
Pitch was small.
Yeah, it was small. That's why, if you remember, Kenny, when we first went into Europe after many years, we had to go and play at Wembley.
Yeah.
As you said, the pitch didn't meet the specifications for European football.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm right in saying that, aren't I? I mean,
Yeah.
that was the facts. But and then do you remember when we went back to Highbury? They were advertising on the lower.
Yeah, and they cut the capacities. They
Yeah.
cut the capacity at Highbury. But that's the thing with football. You know, eventually teams, grounds that were built in the Victorian times, they're a thing of the past. They're going to have to go. If you're a football ground now and you're in a residential area, your future at that ground is very much compromised. You are going to, not the Forest are probably going to have the same situation as well. Man United are okay because they've always been in a sort of industrial area, and where their cricket ground and their football ground, Old Trafford, both of them, they're both really in the sticks. There's no kind of like residential areas near it. Like Arsenal had the problem, mate. Everton, same situation, and then the same situation that Derby County had the baseball ground. Luton Town are going to have to move. QPR might have to move as well.
Oh, crikey, QPR, yeah. Jesus, yeah, that is a proper tight stadium down there. Loftus Road. Oh my days. Yeah. Forgot all about Loftus Road, won't lie. Fair enough. Right, guys. Quickly, I want to talk about Tony, press conferences. Do you have the shit press conferences that Arsenal have? I mean, I watched that one today. I'm thinking, dear God, 10 questions in, and a journo, don't know who it was, actually asked a question about the game, Spurs Arsenal. The rest of it is like, what are you talking about, man? Do you get that at West Ham?
Yeah, but I think sometimes Moisey actually kind of shouts them down because it's like ask the direct questions, not go around the houses and talk about the world and his wife and everything else. It's if you're going to ask a question, ask something that's relevant. Don't talk about crap, basically.
Shocking, man. I often are these journalists. Are they proper journalists, Kenny? Are they qualified? Have they been to university and done their journalism? I mean, you know some of them. You see them at Arsenal.
Well, the thing about it is that we're in a situation now where anyone can get a press pass. I was watching I came across a YouTube channel where someone who's on the United stand got a press pass to the semi-final. We are seeing, the fan channels getting press passes. You'd have to look at Sky. First thing in the morning, during the transfer window, they don't have esteemed journalists or ex-players. They now have YouTubers. We're getting to a situation where, how do I say it? We're diluting the quality of journalism in this country because, a lot of journalists don't go to, like I said, that qualification. In fact, the actual people who actually got the qualifications are the women. The women journalists who we see now, they're the ones who actually more qualified than the younger counterparts that we're now inheriting from new media. There's the odd female journalist who hasn't had the right credentials and just gets off the pass. But I think what's happening right now is that the questions are, you can tell that this journalist is got accreditation, and it's only a temporary accreditation where they're not going to ask the right questions because they're scared that they'll lose it, and that's it. That's their fledgling career over. Whilst someone like the established journalist that we've had over the last 20 or 30 years, he doesn't care if Ten Hag says, right, you lot are banged. He says, all right, he's still going to get work. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with that. I totally agree. I mean, Yeti, your press conference, mate, at the Forest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched one today, and every time I watch them, they are basically relevant to the game and relevant to the situation. Obviously, a little bit about VAR and a little bit about their decisions and things like that. And he just kind of fends them off, and then they ask about the injuries for the game. and how he's going to approach the game and things like that. So I think ours are better. I think the problem with yours is you've got like these ex people who's like, because they've got a blue ticket, it's like Dave, who works in the city centre toilets cleaning them, says that Arsenal are signing Morgan Gibbs White, and then all of a sudden it just goes mental, doesn't it? So yeah, the journalism, everybody's a journalist, aren't they? Apparently now. So
I wouldn't call myself a journalist at all whatsoever. I don't have to now about it.
I'd call you a prick.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean,
just to let you know, QPR's gone 2-0 up against Leeds as well.
Have they really? Less.
No one wants to see. No one wants to get in the Premiership. Leicester was self-harming. Now Leeds is self-harming.
Yeah.
Well, Leicester will get promoted tonight, wouldn't they?
Yeah, going by Exeter said, yeah.
They should have been having their promotional party weeks ago.
Yeah, interesting, man. Interesting. Give me your match. Right, okay, yeah. Tony, give me your predictions for your game, the Forest game, and the Spurs Arsenal game. Give me your scores, man.
So our game, I'll say we're going to possibly nick it 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
The Forest City game, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say it's going to be City 3-1.
Think about it, bold it.
I love you. Yeah, you know that. I'll always love you, regardless. You know where I live as well. I know that. And obviously, I know, Jez, that he's already posted you a box of tissues just in preparation. But I think it's going to be 2-2 for your game for the North London derby.
Okay, fair enough. Good scores. Yeah, give me yours, man, for the 3 games.
Is the Liverpool game at the London Stadium?
Yes.
Yeah.
Personally, I think bowling ground is it? I don't know. I thought they played football, not bowling, but okay.
I'm taking the piss.
I think it'd probably be 1-1. To be fair, the Liverpool West Ham game. Like I say, I think Liverpool have checked out. They could actually do different. Like I say, what I say is not factual. It's just what I think. So no coming at me at that. But the Man City Forest game, I think it's going to be a draw. Personally, I think it's going to be a draw. I think we're going to nick a draw again. It's going to be tight. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be exactly like the last one, where how we survived it, I have no idea. The only thing I'm a bit worried about is back then we had a defence that was like really concentrating and everything. But like I say, where Forest are concerned, I'm not talking factual, I'm just saying I've got a feeling. And I'll always back my boys no matter what. That's what you do as a fan. And your game, I think you win it. 3-2.
Yeah, well, it'd be interesting. Kenny, man, what do you think of the games?
Well, I'll start in chronological order. The West Ham game against Liverpool is a game that is concerned on West Ham's part because of the lack of form. However, a game against Liverpool will get you in good stead. I personally think it will be a high scoring draw. I do see Liverpool turning away, but I just see Liverpool self-harming. So don't be surprised if it's 3-3. If any game's 3-3, that game highly likely to be 3-3. I'll go with the Man City not the Forest game. That's got potential to be very high scoring. However, Forest self-harming will self-harm. So don't be surprised if it's Man City, Nottingham Forest 3, Man City 4. That's another game that's capable of being high scoring because Forest have got genuine quality up front. Wood is being in Richmond form. Hudson-Odoi is in good form as well. It's just that can they sustain and repel Man City because Man City.
That's it, isn't it?
You're fully capable of going at least 2-1 up, 1-0 up, and then going half time 2-1 up. But Man City, their bench, that is a high scoring game. The crowd will get behind you. Your emotions are going to be very high. You're very angry, justifiably. in my opinion. So all penalties, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
So, self-harming Nottingham Forest, I'm afraid, you may lose by the goal. So you're going to have to rely on Burnley and Luton to get stuffed, which I think they will get stuffed anyway.
Yeah.
North London derby, unfortunately for me, I do think Spurs will put a performance of the ages, and I do think there'll be a draw. It'll be a scoring draw as well. Again, it will be very, very frustrated, but I think we'll be very knackered as well after the game. So yeah, I have to be honest, and my head is telling me draw.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
Fair play.
Personally, I'm going to go West Ham, Liverpool. I'm going to go 1-1 on that one. I just think Liverpool seem to have checked out a little bit. Salah's bang off form. They just start misfiring me all over the park. The Forest game, I think sadly, is going to go 3-0 Man City. Sadly.
Right, that's Jez, Kenny, and early doors. Nowhere near watch-alongs. Nowhere near me.
I hear where you're coming from. I think the thing about who you got that Republican defender who he's. I say it respectfully. He's championship level, isn't he? Really,
he is. He's done all right at times, but yeah, you're probably right there. Marilo's probably a big one.
You've got a bounce, bro. So thanks for joining us, buddy.
No, thank you, mate.
I'll see you on the weekend. And hope you do us a favour. That's what I'm going to say.
I suppose Tone and Yeti are going to talk. Are going to have a private chat about when was the last time both sides have got European trophies? Talk about all the European trophies. Yeti's going to talk about two cups of the years, and West Ham champions of Europe.
How are we going to send you postcards, Kenny? That's what it is with cups.
The thing is, our cups are real, though, Kenny. You know what I mean? So it's not really a conversation.
I don't know. You try telling them the hundreds of thousands of EastEnders who celebrated the day after they won it. Try telling them.
Bit like Spurs celebrate the Tiger Cup, wasn't it?
We were slightly better than them, Yeti. We were slightly better than them.
What's that about? My final one is Spurs Arsenal. I'm actually going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I just think we're going to be a little bit too much. I do. I think we're going to be a little bit too much. Quickly do this one. I've starred this. Asfar says the Aston Villa game will come back to bite us and cost us the Premier title. Could be.
Look, we were playing, to be honest, factually, even though we went on that fantastic run after Dubai, in essence, we were playing catch up with Liverpool. We overhauled Liverpool, but there was, with the fact that all teams were neck and neck by Easter Monday, there was no margin of error. Whoever made the mistake may concede a title. That's how close it was. Unfortunately, our form in December will probably be more costly than the Villa game.
Great question I've got here. Great question. AFC always question, is Tottenham the only team that could end Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool title hopes? Because Tottenham got to play these three teams. Kenny, what do you think?
Well, the thing is, if Spurs beat all of those teams, Man City still win the title because they're 2 points in.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, I'm going to shoot off. Thanks so much, Jez, for the invite. Yeti, Kenny, as always.
Pleasure. Shout out before you go. Shout each other.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's Early Doors Football TV. As you find these guys, and hopefully Kenny at some point, still got to get you to come on Sunday night with us.
Please, definitely. I need to get away from like the albatross, which is the three women I live with.
And I'll try and get old Terence on one time as well. But yeah, Early Doors Football TV. Don't forget, guys, in the chat, Jez, Yeti especially as well. Subscribe to these guys. Give them the love like we always do. Great channels, great content from these guys. And I am out. Guys, look after yourself. Have a good
Thanks,
weekend.
Steve.
Take it easy.
Yeah, Tom.
Ta-da now.
Yeah, I mean, there you go, Kenny. It's going to be an interesting one.
The
It's
thing
weird,
about it,
isn't it? Everyone's got to play Spurs.
you know what? We built. I think what's happened. Reality always bites at the start of the season. I think when you get to like the championship rounds, you find out in April who's good enough to stay in this league and who's good enough to win the titles and who's good enough to win the top four.
Yeah.
Because this is where it's proper test. It's great when you're all fit, you're firing at all cylinders. But when it gets to the last game of the season, when not only are you physically knackered, you're mentally knackered, you've got the pressure. You lose, you could go down, and then people at Nottingham Forest could lose their jobs. You think about Spurs. If Spurs don't get in the top four, that's a 62,000 stadium that is not you're missing out on Champions League football. That's pressure. Man City got pressure because of the standards they set. They have to win the league every year.
Yeah,
Arsenal under pressure because they haven't won things, and the manager, despite the praise he gets from the majority of Arsenal fans, he's always going to have that in the back of his mind. I haven't won anything yet. I've only won one FA Cup. I haven't won the big one, even though everyone says we're better. We still can't get over the line. So the pressure's immense for all the teams that are in contention, both ends of the table.
Facts, man, facts. I just want to say a big up to Carl Rossi, man, for putting all the YouTube links in tonight, brother. Thank you for all the channels. We've all got, well, you haven't, but City, Liverpool, Arsenal, all got to play Spurs. So it could be a party spoiler, couldn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, they are all in their hands. You know, I mean, they're the ones that hold the key, aren't they, really? I do think, I think you'll beat them. Not sure about Liverpool. City and Spurs is always one of them games. For some reason, they have a hoodoo there as well, which they do have a bit of a hoodoo at the City ground as well, which is kind of where my point comes from. So, whether that's going to take on
for not winning the Champions League now, can you?
No, we can't. We can't sing that. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. We might be able to add it. We might be able to add to it. Champions of Europe twice, you'll never sing that, or something like that. I don't know.
Somehow, I think they'll win their second one before we win our first one.
Yeah.
True, man.
Thanks, ACO Waste.
One day, I'm hoping, Kenny, the populace are calling YouTube channel.
What you guys do is just fantastic content. To have the ideas, just think, you know what, let's do this. And what you do is excellent because you're actually quick. You're on the pulse with what's going on in the sporting world, the footballing world. So, I can only do that on my own Instagram stories. That's the best I can do because I just think somehow I can just imagine myself doing a live gig in it, and then all of a sudden my internet packs up, and I'm the host, and I've got no internet, and I just worry about it. You can never say never, but at the moment I just love doing what I'm doing. I'm honoured to be invited on all your channels, and I just thought I'm doing. But day, it must be a real kick for you guys to actually be in charge of something, organise it, get people up, and see your work and get the appreciation. It's got to be one of the biggest boosts you can ever get. And people watching something you prepared. I do get the what you guys are doing. I think you're mad, but if someone genuinely loves what you're doing and looks forward to something you've prepared, that's got to be the biggest. It's got to be the biggest prize in life.
The thing is I learned so much off you and Lee, and Claude, because I was on with you on Lee's shows for 2 years, and Lee said Lee said to me once, "Oh, do your own channel." I said, "Nah, I can't be asked." And I just, as you know the story, I just decided one day go for it. But it is. Kenny, man, thank you for coming on. You'll be at the game.
Oh, definitely. I'm looking forward to the game. Like I said, I always say, until the ticket's in my hand, anything can happen. The ticket's not in my hand. I have to, I always, like I said, give the powers to be the money. But if it goes back in my bank account, I'll be watching on TV like everyone else. I just pray that I don't have that thing that happened to me. So I'm looking forward to it. I've got this kind of like perverse excitement about going to that game, getting on that tube and walking the gauntlet.
Yeah,
yeah, you know what I mean. I tell you one thing, Yeti and Jez. If you go there, let me tell you something now. You're put on about 1.5 stone if you walk down that high road. You've got the world's foods there, and I'm not exaggerating. You've got the world's food. I tell you, if you want Caribbean, it's there. You want Chinese, it's there. If you want, like I said, Indian, it's there. You've got kebabs, Greek food, cafes. Basically, they're basically trying to, kill their population in Tottenham.
There used to be a fine mash shop there called Jackie's. Is that still there?
You know what? I didn't look for it because I was basically knocked out by the amount of food they got there. You get out of Seven Sisters and you get come towards Bruce Grove, and I'll tell you one thing there. You'll be the smell. You actually feel like you're tasting the food.
Yeah. I know where you're coming from, man, on that one. Yeti, you'll be doing the watch-alongs tomorrow, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I'll be starting about 2:30.
What's the 5 o'clock game? What's the 5 o'clock game?
Oh, who's it?
Game.
I can't remember. Is it Villa?
Is it Villa? I'll have a check. Let me check.
Yeah, I'm just having a look now.
Go on, mate. Yeti, carry on. And then you're on Sunday, Arsenal game, then the Forest Man City game.
Yeah, I'll be starting with a Wolves Luton game and keeping an eye. If you're on, then keeping an eye on the Burnley Man United game as well, because obviously they're important to us. And then I'll just be going on from that because there's like 3 games, isn't there?
There's 3 games.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's West Ham Liverpool 12:30. The 5:30 kickoff is Everton Brentford, and
right.
The 8 o'clock game is under lights. It's Aston Villa versus Chelsea.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. So you got 3 decent.
You like some of that, don't you, Yeti?
Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
So TNT Sports have got 2 games.
Fact, I mean, listen, great games this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend. Can't deny that.
Definitely.
AFC always says, Sol Campbell once said, I always wanted to win the league at White Hart Lane. I left and joined Arsenal.
That guy can never show his face at White Hart Lane. Even he can have 2 bodyguards. He can have like wear a bulletproof vest, a stab-proof vest, but he still wouldn't come out of there in one piece. They bloody hate that brand.
Did he ever get a management job?
What's that?
Did he ever get a management job?
I know he was going on about. I'm thinking, did he get Macclesfield or was that Incy?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Anyway, Yeti, shout your channel out, bro, please.
Yeah, like I say, there'll be watch-alongs tomorrow, long watch-alongs as well from 2:30, and then we'll go on to the North London derby, and then Forest Man City on the Sunday. Jezza will be with me, and Kenny can if he ever wants to. Obviously, he won't be on for the Tottenham one, obviously, because he'll be there, the lucky bugger.
I'll tell you one thing. You know what? I'll lock myself in a room and not want to come out and say, look, I know this is actually a true story. There's one North London derby, 2 North London derbies that really affected me physically. Physically, my eczema after they beat us at the Emirates Stadium when Yunus Kapoor got the winner. And there was one game where Gareth Bale's last North London derby and they beat us 2-1. I didn't want to leave the house. I was so gutted about it. I didn't want to get out of bed the next day. I was so hurt by that defeat.
Mate, I get it. Get the
It's the
same
worst
thing when we
hurt
play against Derby.
Yeah.
You know?
It is losing there, losing at Man United, man, is the worst of the worst, in my opinion. I've had this debate. Teddy and I have had this debate so many times with Lee. Right, Lee gets it about Man United because they were our biggest rivals in football content back in the day, right, with Alex Ferguson. But
Yeah.
Lee doesn't get the fact of what Kenny and I say about what it is with Tottenham,
Mm.
right? Because when you grew up with those noisy neighbours, right, down the road, it's personal,
Yeah, it is. It is.
personal. And I respect Lee for what he does, what he says. He doesn't get, and I'm not being disrespectful at all here. I'm just saying we've talked about it, Kenny, haven't we? Loads
Oh,
and loads.
we've set the lead. No, and I think, but he's not the owner because good friend of mine, someone I like a lot. Obviously we're friendly, but I really do like the guy. I've got a lot of respect, and I'm really happy that he's doing really well in his career. Harry Simeon, he was brought up at an age. He's a lot younger than both of us, but when he was growing up and into football, the only rivalry he knew was Wenger Ferguson.
Yeah. Okay.
I said, Harry, how could you say blah blah blah? You're out of order. And he said, Ken, exactly what I said on the Chris Carling channel is exactly what I'm telling you now. That's all. That's what I was growing up. Obviously, we knew that Spurs was our rivals. He's from North London, but he said, but that's the only rivalry that I really got into was, and that's probably what it is. And there's the younger lads as well, because Man United have a diaspora of fans. The playground, there was Man United and more Man United than Arsenal back than Arsenal Tottenham back then. So for those youngsters who grew up to be men, they hate Man United more than Tottenham because that's what they know. They brought their own personal thing like us.
Yeah.
When we grew up, it was Spurs. We had in Islington, you had Spurs fans just as much as you had Arsenal fans in Harringay. It was personal hatred. We were brought up on it.
It is like that. It is tribal. It is tribal. And if you don't know it, big up Tony, man. Hope you do well. Hope your refereeing's going well, bro. Hope your refereeing's going well.
Tony, mate.
Fair play to you, Matt, for doing that in this day and age. Yeah, it is. It's something. It's very hard to describe, in my opinion. It's either in your blood or it's not in your blood, right? And if you were around that area where Kenny Kemp was brought up, where I came up, and then you go down that road, it's just. It's like
it's really that bad. It really is that bad, and it's really that bad. And I think that I think you realise how big a derby it is because they hate us more. They really hate us.
oh yeah.
They really hate us. They really have no admiration or love for us. Our fans. They really, really, really cannot stand us. They hate the fact that we've had more success than them. They hate the fact that we let them know about it. And I think because when we're successful, it makes them even more angry because it was why not us? But it's more different. It's different. Well, it really is something else. Like you think about it, there's actually people in Islington who support his Tottenham to wind up their dads. You get that, and vice versa. That's how big a rivalry it is. You can't get that with Man United Arsenal.
And the fact, Kenny, it goes back in time for what happened back in 1913, all that drama. But the fact we've been there, 71, right, won the title there, and then we went there again and won the title there.
Yeah, that annoys them.
That is like cutting their throats.
Yeah, but the fact that they won the double 10 years before that, and we went and emulated that annoys them. That annoys the hell out of them. They hate the fact that we've apparently we're a South London club that calls Woolwich Arsenal, And they all say, "Oh yeah, how dare you come to our ground and nick our fans?" Because let's face it, they had North London themselves, and the only team that their rivals were Leighton Orient. You think about it.
Yeah, but fact of the matter is, right, back in the early days, they weren't even in London. They were in Middlesex.
Well, they hate that. We hate Woolwich, and they hate being told that they're from Middlesex. It really winds them up. Really winds them, makes them really annoyed. But the same
I had a
thing
debate,
with
Kenny.
Bram was in Essex before 1965. He was in Essex.
Yeah, true. I had a debate last year on a channel, and it's a Spurs channel. I was invited on there, and I absolutely really upset these two guys. And I said, "Well, you're not from London at all. You're from Middlesex." And they went absolutely off the road. About this, about that. I said, "Well, that's fact. Go back and look at your history. You're from Middlesex, so don't call us out from coming from Woolwich."
You know what it is, Jess? I think what it is that I think that before 1965 we were using the same sort of postcodes from like the early the early sort of 18th century, so the late 18th century. When we had the demographics around London. London was a small before the 19th century. London was a tiny city.
It was.
London consisted of the city of London. There was no all these areas like Islington didn't exist. People didn't recognise it, and that went well into even though obviously you had the London postcodes. You had the London you had the N17, M5, and everything. But when it came to the postal, when you posted letters, up until 1965, parts of East London were called Essex, and parts of North London, North London was called Middlesex, and some parts out of North London called Hertfordshire. So that's the way things work. But that's all down to not moving the times. But after 1965, it levelled itself out, and we got rid of Essex. Back in the day, Middlesex don't even exist no more. Even though you still say Enfield Middlesex, but Middlesex has been dwarfed by West London and Surrey.
True. Very, very true. Anyway, guys, going to wrap this up. Kenny, thanks for joining, man, as always.
I love having Yeti on as well, because Yeti has this way of bring us down to earth. He just either says he either sits up the number two. He talks about stars.
Love it, man. Yeti, I'll be joining you on Sunday. I'll try and join you tomorrow.
Yeah, we're all Forest fans. Yeah, on 4:30 on Sunday.
Well, of course,
you guys on loan to Forest.
Hey, don't worry. I've been watching the old Brian. I've been watching the videos of Brian Clough. As told by Mark Crossley. So that gets me in the mood.
Yeah,
and they're very they're award winning.
Yeah. 100%.
Thanks for everybody in the chat. Thanks to Mama Flossie. Thanks to Carl Rossi.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mama.
Carl, he's done a great job tonight, man. Thank you very much. Putting all his links in the chat and everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. And I'm going to do the outro, and we're going to get out of here. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you all soon. And Chris Walters, special big up to Kenny Kim.
The cricket season's warming up. We've got the cricket 2020 World Cup in the West Indies and USA.
No,
England.
No, not happening.
Chris,
you don't like cricket. Neither you two like cricket. I get it.
No, not for me. I like the one-day stuff, the 2020. That's all right.
That's what I was talking about, the 2020 World Cup in the West Indies in the United States. I can't
do these 5-day bloody things. That just balls of shit.
I used to have this cricket game, and I really enjoyed that because, like, after you hit the first ball, everybody just beat the hell out of each other. Best cricket I've ever seen.
And I'll do the outro, and we'll see you over the weekend on wherever we're going to be. Kenny, enjoy the game. Stay safe getting up to the
definitely.
Stay safe, mate.
As I said, when the ticket's in my hand, I'm going.
You'll be all right, man. You'll be all right. You'll take them all out. But stay safe, bro.
Yeah,
It's a dodgy day out. And,
It is. Get there early. Get there early. Beat
yeah,
beat
that's the thing.
now.
Yeah, don't get isolated. That's the thing, man.
100%.
And we'll see you soon, people. Have a great weekend. A great weekend of football coming up. And we're out. Take care.
yeah, guys.